Rumblefish by S. E. Hinton. Chapter 1. I ran into Steve a couple of days ago. He was real surprised to see me. We hadn't seen each other for a long time. I was sitting on the beach and he come up to me and said, "Rusty James?" I said, "Yeah," because I didn't recognize him right off. My memory's screwed up some. "It's me," he said. "It's Steve Hayes." Then I remembered and got up, brushing sand off. "Hey, yeah. What are you doing here?" he kept saying, looking at me like he couldn't believe it. "I live here," I said. "What are you doing here?" "I'm on vacation. I'm going to college here." "Yeah?" I said. "What are you going to college for?" "I'm going to teach when I get out. High school, probably." "I can't believe it. I never thought I'd see you again. And here, of all places." I figured I had as much chance of being here as he did. Even if we were a long way from where we'd seen each other last, people get excited over the weirdest things. I wondered why I wasn't glad to see him. "You're going to be a teacher, huh?" I said. It figured. He was always reading and stuff. "What do you do here?" he asked. "Nothing. Bum around," I answered. Bumming around is a real popular profession here. You could paint, write, barkeep, or bum around. I tried barkeeping once and didn't much like it. "Lord, Rusty James," he said, "how long has it been?" I thought for a minute and said, 5 or 6 years. Math ain't never been my strong point. "How did you get here?" He just couldn't seem to get over it. "Me and a friend of mine, Alex, a guy I met in the reformatory. We just started knocking around after we got out. We've been here a while." "No kiddin'." Steve hadn't changed much. He looked about the same, except for the mustache that made him look like a little kid going to a Halloween party. But a lot of people are growing mustaches these days. I never went in for them myself. "How long were you in for?" he asked. "I never found out. We moved, right after." 5 years, I said. I can't remember much about it. Like I said, my memory's screwed up some. If somebody says something to remind me, I can remember things. But if I'm left alone, I don't seem to be able to. Sometimes Alex will say something that brings back the reformatory, but mostly he don't. He don't like remembering it either. "They put me in solitary once," I said, because Steve seemed to be waiting for something. He looked at me strangely and said, "Oh, I'm sorry." He was staring at a scar that runs down my side. It looks like a raised white line. It don't get tan either. "I got that in a knife fight," I told him, "a long time ago." "I know, I was there." "Yeah," I said, "you were." For a second I remembered the fight. It was like seeing a movie of it. Steve glanced away for a second. I could tell he was trying not to look for the other scars. They're not real noticeable, but they're not that hard to see either if you know where to look. "Hey," he said too sudden, like he was trying to change the subject. "I want you to meet my girlfriend. She won't believe it. I haven't seen you since we were 13, 14. I don't know though." He gave me a look that was half kidding and half serious. "You leave other guys' chicks alone?" "Yeah," I said. "I got a girl." "Or two or three?" "Just one," I said. I like to keep things simple, and God knows even one could get complicated enough. "Let's meet for dinner somewhere," he said. "We can talk about the good old days. Man, I have come so far since then." I didn't stop him from naming a time and a place, even though I didn't much want to talk about the good old days. I didn't even remember them. "Rusty James," he was saying, "you gave me a real scare when I first saw you. I thought I'd flipped out. You know who I thought you were for a second?" My stomach clenched itself into a fist, and an old fear started creeping up my backbone. "You know who you look just like?" "Yeah," I said, and remembered everything. I could have been really glad to see old Steve if he hadn't made me remember everything.